All right, everybody's going on mute. Good morning, good to see everyone. Thanks for carving out the time in your Sunday morning, wherever you are across the country, to drop into the digital temple of Zoom and practice yoga with us. So this morning's practice is emphasizing mobility in the shoulder girdle. And as we've been doing the last many weeks, it's going to be a slow flow. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be super simple. I mean, the moves will be simple, but we'll hold some poses, which is always kind of dynamic. If you can be dynamic when you're being still. And I think you can. So what you need is a block. You might want to have a strap nearby. I'll have one next to my mat just to show some modifications. And then I think, halfway through class, we might just jet over to the wall for like 30 seconds or a minute, but you won't need to move your mat around. We'll just bop over to the wall. And if you don't have access to a wall, you could use like the back of a chair, or you could use a desk or a countertop. So no sweat. You don't need to like rearrange the furniture or go to a shift to a different room if wall access isn't available. So with that said, welcome. And let's begin seated in Virasana. So Virasana, if that's new to you, is sitting on your shins with your feet behind you. And some of you are going to be like, oh, I'm just going to plop my butt right down in between my heels. But the rest of us are going to use our block and put the block on maybe its second height or its lowest height. Or feel free to build your throne with more gear. You can have more blocks. You can put bolsters, pillows, folded up blankets so that you can lift your throne, particularly if your knees are not crazy about this degree of flexion, or your ankles are not happy with this degree of extension. So do what feels great in your body. And if none of that feels good, you know the program. If you don't like it, ditch it. So you can sit in just a seated shape with your legs crossed, or get up onto a chair. That's totally legal. And then I'm just going to have you rest your hands on your lap. Good. And let's just take about a minute and a half sitting and finding that stillness. Eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. And 2 or 3 deep, rich breaths. Deep on the in-breath, slow on the out-breath. Using the breath to transition you from the activities of the morning to your time on your mat, your time on the screen with us. And inviting the breath to bring you into your body. Just like tap in, feel the rhythm of your breathing, maybe the quality of your breath. Identifying the texture of your breath. Good. And let your breath fall into a steady pattern that is organic just to you. We'll call it your own personal breath print. And tap into your posture, tap further into your body, lining up your ears over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips. Seeing if you can identify 2 plumb lines down either side of your body. Great. Good. I'll have you bring your arms down by your sides and bring your fingertips to the floor. Spread your fingertips out and touch the floor with your fingertips. And on your next exhale, I'll have you take your right ear over your right shoulder. Good. And when you breathe in, draw your head back up to center. And then let your left ear float over your left shoulder when you exhale. And we'll do that twice more from side to side. Move with your breath. Let your breath guide the rhythm and the rate of this move. Slow is always better in my playbook. Observing where there's a bit more resistance. Does one side feel more adhesed or adhered? After your third round and your head comes back to center, I'm going to have you place your fingertips to your shoulders. And we're going to make 4 circles in one direction. You can go as big or as small as you like. I'm starting to free up the joints. Click, 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 pop, pop. And then you'll go 4 times in the reverse direction. Yeah, terrific. Hi, Sophie. Excellent. Good. Bring your hands in front of you, Namaskar Mudra, and then slide the base of your palms down towards your lap, keeping the base of your palms together, snugly fitting together. Spin your fingertips to your sternum. And notice if the mound of your index fingers separated. See if you can tap down through the base of all fingers, the base knuckle. Good. Spin your fingertips down now towards the floor. And before we glide our hands up, I want you to roll your shoulders back. Take your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets and see if you can keep them there as you pull your hands up. Notice the temptation to shrug your shoulders up towards your earlobes. Shoulders down, palms up. Nice. Good. And one more time, fingertips up. Good. Take your hands down a little closer towards your belly. Terrific. And then softly clasp your fingers together. We'll make figure 8s with our wrists. Good. Reverse direction. And pause. Change the interlace of your fingers so the other pinky's on the outside. And here we go again, figure 8s. And hit reverse. Sweet. Good. Bring your arms down. Spread your fingers wide. Excellent. And then come onto your hands and your knees. You can set your block up to the top of your sticky mat, off to the side. We'll come to it in a bit. Whoa. Good. And we're going to start out with wrist raises. So what that means is with your arms straight in front of you, I'm going to have you externally rotate your arms just enough so your index finger points towards the top of your sticky mat. Keep your arms straight, the eyes of your elbows facing forward. And then you're just going to peel your wrist and your palm up off the floor. Keep your fingers down. Now your thumb will come up. That's fine, but all other fingers stay down. And then set your wrist back down, palm back down. And then peel up and set down. Peel up and set down. Yeah, peel up and down. Yeah, looks great. Fingers on the sticky mat. Good, nice. Arms straight. Excellent. Let's go 2 more times. Sweet. Good. And then from here, we're going to come into the scap squeeze, right? So as you breathe in, draw your shoulder blades towards your spine. And as you exhale, pull your shoulder blades apart from your spine. So it's not a cat-cow, right? We're not including the lumbar spine. We're isolating the scapula, drawing in, squeezing in, and then pulling apart. Arms stay straight the whole time. Yeah, good. That's it, Kara. Good. Round squeeze. Yes, and round. Good, nice. Okay, let's go a couple more times. All right, now from here, keep your hands planted to the sticky mat and drop back into child's pose, exhaling. Now you can shift or maneuver yourself around so that your arms or your shoulders are in full extension. Lift up to tabletop. Drop your hips back again when you exhale. I'm going to do this 4 times. Moving slow. Coming back up to tabletop. And slowly descending hips towards heels. Armpits. One more time.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
You're having some mic issues.
Son of a gun.
Just when you were in a certain position or certain posture, it was like, sounded like a little burst of feedback coming through.
No, it just sounded like it muffled.
Or really muffled. So
Okay.
some of those directions may not have been a little clear.
Great. Great. All right. Thank you.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate that. Okay. So now we're going to stay on hands and knees. All right. Keep shouting out if everything gets weird again, and I'll just ditch the mic and see how we do there. So what I'm going to have you do now is take your hands over to the left. So just take your right hand where your left hand is, and then your left hand comes off the mat. So you're kind of in a side angle tabletop. This is your in-breath. Drop into child's pose as you exhale, really anchoring your right hip down, and then inhale back up. Exhale. Good. Twice more. Good. Yeah, good. Inhale. Blasted night. And next. Okay, now you're going to walk your hands.
No, we can't hear you at all, Lisa.
Okay, how about now? Thanks. Okay, sorry, everybody. I'm glad you couldn't hear me because I did cuss. Crapola. All right. All right, so here we are on the right. Oh, drop down 4 times. Great. Nice, Rachel. And then after your 4th round, you're going to bring your arms back to center. And we've just got 4 more to do, but with your hands at center, I want you to take your left hand to the center of your mat, place your right hand on top. And here we go 2 times. Drop your hips down. Oh, and then lift back up. I like chest compressions. And exhale, hips down. and back up. And then you'll just change hands. Now your left hand will settle on top of your right hand, and down you go. Into child's pose. Float back up to hands and knees. And then last time, child's pose. Hands and knees. All right. Separate your hands. Tuck your toes under. Let's prepare for downward facing dog. Give yourself a full breath in. And then knees lift up, hips lift up. Coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Great. And do what feels natural and good for you right now. You want to march your heels up and down, or maybe take your heels over to one side and then the other. Exploring how much mobility there is through your ribs and the muscles between your ribs, the tissues, connective tissues surrounding your ribs. Good. And then make your way back to downward dog if you've been kind of moving around, shifting around. And you're welcome to do this next part from your hands and your knees. I'm going to have you float your right heel up. Take your right leg up to the ceiling. So it's a three-legged dog. And if you're on hands and knees, just take your right leg straight back. Good. If you're in three-legged dog, I'm going to have you roll your right hip back, bend your right knee, and reach your right heel towards your left shoulder. Just opening up through the right hip flexors after being in flexion for the first segment of the class. Now square your hips, please, and re-extend your leg. And I'm going to have you step forward. Take as many steps as you'd like. Come to your knees if you'd like. Chunk your foot up there, toss it up there, drag it up there, and bring your left knee down to the floor. Hands to the top of your right knee to lift yourself up and establish balance. And then I'm going to have you bring your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers together. Drop your knuckles down below your sacrum, broadening your collarbones. And amplifying your sternum, like turning it up and on. Now you'll bend your elbows and sweep your clasped hands, your clasped fingers, over towards your right hip. Then begin to draw your right elbow in towards your left elbow and take your left ear over your left shoulder. Feel that? Right elbow's coming in towards the left elbow, left ear towards left shoulder. Excellent. Bring your head back up. Take your arms back behind you. Lift your arms away from your back. And then you can release your hands. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Pick your back knee up. Find yourself in just a runner stretch just briefly, and then you'll step back to downward facing dog again, or hands and knees. Anytime you want to drop to child's pose, be my guest. Now we're going to go right into the other side. Float your left leg up, left heel towards the ceiling. And then if it feels good, roll your hip back, bend your knee, and reach your left heel towards your right shoulder. Excellent. Square your hips, please, and re-extend that leg. And then step forward. Left foot up to your left hand. Bring your right knee down. Stack your hands on your left knee and lift yourself up. Gather your balance. And then your hands come behind your back. And first, we're just going to drop the knuckles down below the sacrum, below the tush. Great. Then you'll bend your elbows, bring your hands over to your left hip, draw your left elbow towards your right elbow, and then you'll take your right ear over your right shoulder. Good. Great. Lift your head. Take your arms back, and this time lift them away from your back. Oh, yeah. And release your fingertips to the floor. And now listen, we're not going back to down dog, but I do want you to pick your right knee up. I'm going to have you spin your right heel down and give yourself a quarter turn to the right so we're in a wide-legged forward bend. We're starting at the Padottanasana. And from here, we're set up to do side lunges. So you can gently drop into your right knee, right hip, and then slowly migrate your way across the midline, bending into your left knee and left hip. And we'll do that 3 more times, just moving slow with intention, being very deliberate about moving your fingers across the top of your mat if you'd like. Squeezing your sticky mat with the 4 corners of your feet. And exploring the stretch you get through the inseam of your legs. Terrific. Great. Now your 4th one. Don't rush, but just so you know where we're going. On your 4th one, you'll come back to the left, spin your left toes to face the top of the mat, pivot up onto the ball of your right foot, and then you're going to step forward, right foot next to left foot. Woo! Sweep your arms out to the side and up as you rise all the way up, reaching up, maybe looking up if your neck is okay with that. And then bringing your hands to your heart. And here we are in Tadasana, ready to move. Excellent, good. Breathing in, sweep your arms out, take them up. Maybe look up, maybe don't, your call. As you exhale, float forward, soft knees. Good. Inhaling, come halfway up. Maybe your hands glide up your shins, or maybe fingertips want to stay to the floor. And exhale, bow forward over your feet. Take your right foot back. And keep your right knee lifted. Bring your hands to your waist and lift yourself up. And then as you inhale, take your arms up. When you exhale, you're going to straighten your left leg and bring your arms down by your side. Inhale, bend your left knee, sweep your arms up. Exhale, straighten your left leg, float your arms down by your sides. 2 more times. Do you remember that instruction about the plumb lines on either side of your trunk? Ears over shoulders over hips. Inhale. Try to find that, maintain that Tadasana through the torso. And then we're going to find that lunge again with the arms up, and we're going to stay for 4 breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Anytime you want to bring that right knee to the floor, you go for it. Breathing in and breathing out. Ears, shoulders, hips. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Last breath. Excellent. Fingertips to the floor. Great. Now listen, you're going to step back. You've got choices. Child's pose, downward dog. Those of you who want to keep flowing and working with the breath and movement, you'll come forward to staff. Bring your body down to the mat. Find your way into a low back bend. No big shakes right out of the gate. And then we'll all meet together in downward facing dog. So those little detours are totally up to you, right? I mean, the whole class really is totally up to you. But those vinyasa detours, you can just hang in downward dog. You can flow through that plank, up dog or cobra, and then come back to downward dog, your call. So from here, we're going to take the right foot forward. And then you're going to step your left foot forward. Draw a deep breath in as you come halfway up. Hands can glide up to your shins, strong, straight back. And then exhale and spill your breath out over the mat as you fold forward. Take your left foot back. And here we go, second side. Good. Hands to your waist, lift yourself up. And then you'll take your arms straight up. Breathing in. And as you exhale, straighten your left leg, bring your arms down. Good. Inhale, flexion. Exhale, extension. Maybe your arms go a little back. Twice more. Inhale, flexion. Drop deep into your left knee. Exhale, straighten your leg and shoulder extension. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good, and let's find that lunge, Anjaneyasana. Arms up, left knee bent. Let's stay for 4 breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale. Exhale. Good, twice more. Low belly slightly in, support your lumbar spine, especially if you're like super mobile, hyper bendy through your lower back. Find that support in the musculature around your spine. Excellent. And then you'll bring your fingertips to the floor and step back to downward dog. And here's where you've got all those choices, right? You can just hang in dog, you can come down to child's pose, or glide forward and give yourself a little more flow, a little more movement if that suits you. Coming forward to staff pose, often called plank in the vinyasa culture, lowering down to the mat, finding a low back bend, right? Just keep it low, keep it tight, and then we'll all meet in downward dog for a couple of breaths before moving on. All right, good deal. Let's take the left foot forward. Nice. And step your right foot forward. From here, we'll find Utkatasana, right? Chair pose or fierce pose, awkward pose. Sinking into your hips, bending deeply into your knees, but lifting your arms. Good. If you can see, Bruce Springsteen has joined us on my brother's square. Yeah, a life-size cutout of Bruce Springsteen in the background there. Somebody's a fan. Yeah, nice, Eric. Right next to the drum set. Okay, I suppose y'all want to get out of this pose. Okay, so take another breath in. And then you're going to fold forward, sweep your arms behind your back, clasp your fingers together, and take your knuckles up and over your head. Good, stretch. And then fingertips to the floor. Come halfway up on your next breath in. Bow reverently to your feet as you exhale. And you'll take your right foot back, spin your right heel down. All right, left elbow to left knee. And I'm going to have you take your right arm straight out in front of you so your arm is parallel to the floor, palm facing down. Draw your upper arm bone, your humerus bone, like pop it into the shoulder girdle. Pull your shoulder back. Great. Now the in breath, you're going to sweep your arm behind you. Try to keep it parallel to the floor. So you're just kind of slicing through the atmosphere. As you exhale, sweep your arm forward towards your face. Inhale, sweep your arm back. Exhale forward. Good, twice more. Keep that back leg strong. Hugging the sticky mat with all four corners of your right foot. The last one. Exhale forward. Okay, hear me out. Take your right arm back once more behind you. This is door number one. All right, door number two is to bring your strap into the picture. I'll show you from the side. And with your right arm behind you, take a hold of your strap and then grab your strap with your left hand as well. Looks like this. And door number three would be release your strap, clasp your fingers together, and use your left hand to pull your right arm back. But take your head back a little and roll your sternum to the ceiling. Yeah, that's it, Delinda. Good. Roll your right shoulder back. There it is, Maxine. Yeah, turning sternum to the right, turning sternum up, rolling your ribs up. Well done, Bruce. Great. Release your strap or your fingers. Bring your hands to the floor. Holy moly. Come up onto the ball of your back foot. We're going to step forward. Be mindful. Right foot forward. Ooh la la. Here we go, right into Utkatasana again. Sink low. Lift your side ribs up. Side ribs up, sternum up. Arms out in front and up. And then fold forward on an exhale. Bring your arms behind your back. Clasp your fingers together. Knuckles up and over your head. Yes. Fingertips to the floor. Full breath in. Come halfway up. Fill your back lungs with air. And exhaling, bow forward, take your left foot back. Here we go, same drill, second side. Spin your left heel down. Right elbow to right knee. Left arm straight out in front of you, parallel to the floor. Draw your shoulder back. But inhale, sweep your left arm back. And exhale, glide it forward. 4 times. All right, left arm back. I'm actually going to give you one more option. So this could be door number one. Door number two, maybe you could put your block, your right hand on your block. And then you could bring your left arm further behind you and either put the strap between your two hands or clasp your fingers together. Use your right hand to pull your left shoulder back. Take your head back. Ooh, stay strong in that back leg. Excellent. Well done, everyone. Beautiful. Fingertips to the floor. Come onto the ball of your back foot, squaring your hips, and step forward. Ooh, yowza. Excellent. Beautiful. Utkatasana, one more time, just to finish up this sequence. Sinking low in your hips. Let's take a full breath in. And when you exhale, stand up, straight and tall, arms down by your sides. Terrific. Okay, now we're going to pop over to the wall real quick. And remember, you can use a desk or the back of a chair. What I'm going to have you do is, camera a little bit, with you're going to stand facing your wall. So you're going to kind of get a butt shot here, sorry. So I've just got a bookshelf to work with. So you're going to stand facing your bookshelf and walk your hands down the wall, walking your feet back just one step at a time until you come into what feels to you like a 90-degree angle in your hips. 90-degree angle. Yes, 90-degree angle in your hips. Good. Press your hands. I think this might work better. Press your palms into your wall. Draw your femur bones back. Those are your thigh bones. Good. Push your tush back. Excellent. Fingertips come to the wall and push yourself up and away. All right, now identify where your feet are. Just going to have you spin around in the same spot. And now you're going to come into downward facing dog at the wall with your hands where your feet are. Okay, now this part's optional. You're welcome to stay in the previous shape, just finding this 90-degree angle. Stretching through your side body, stretching the muscles between your ribs. Otherwise, you're going to come into downward facing dog. I'll do this here at my desk. You might be able to see this okay. Your feet are at your baseboard. And I know it's kind of a squatty feeling dog. I know it's a little short, a little tight, but push your heels into your baseboard and hike your hips up. And you can stay here or take your feet one leg at a time, one foot at a time, to your wall, to your desk. If you're using the back of a chair, skip this part because the chair will move out from under you. Once you get your feet up the wall, then you can experiment with walking your feet down until you find that 90-degree angle in your hips. Wow, nice on the banister, Kathy. Good, we're just going to take a couple more breaths. Just countering the fluidity and the mobility of the shoulder girdle with a little bit of strength. Beautiful. Step down cautiously. Yeah, great. And come back to your mat. Ooh, yeah, terrific. Good. Let's come back to the top of the mat. We'll finish this up with one more little flow. At your mat, sink into your hips, sweep your arms forward, inhaling Utkatasana. Exhaling, fold forward, slow and easy. Halfway up on the next breath in. Woo. Right foot back as you exhale. Spin your right heel down. And then lift yourself up into exalted warrior. So your right hand will be at your right leg, left arm is up. Let's take 3 breaths, sometimes called grateful warrior, sometimes called reverse warrior. I don't know, feels good. Left arm up. Good. From here, we're going to move into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Straightening your left leg, reaching left arm forward, 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 and then left hand can rest at your left shin. Maybe employ the use of your block, putting it, I recommend, on its tallest height. And you can just set your fingertips to the block like I'm doing. Good. And then from here, right arm can float up to the ceiling. We're going to transition into half moon pose. Option 1 is to stay in triangle pose. Option 2 is to bring your right hand to your waist. Bend your left knee. Find your block if you don't already have it. Place it in your left hand. Take a small step forward with your right foot. So now you've got a bit more of your weight over your left leg. Slide your block forward about 6 or 8 inches in front of your left pinky toe. And then when you're ready, lift yourself up, standing straight and strong on your left leg and floating your right leg straight back so it's parallel to the floor. Find your balance first, and then if you choose to take your right arm up, your call. Just a couple of breaths in half moon pose. Fire up your back leg for me. Put some action in that back foot. Looked great, Maxine. Nice. Terrific. Great. Slowly, gently, compassionately, Return your right foot to the mat, bending your left knee. Fingertips to the floor. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Getting anybody who would like the opportunity to float through the vinyasa of your choice. Gliding forward to staff, maybe lowering to the sticky mat. Low back bend. And then from downward dog, we're going to take our right foot forward. Left foot follows, returning to the top of your mat. This is the last standing sequence, y'all. Utkatasana, inhale. Folding forward, exhale. Coming halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, inhaling. And then your left foot's going to go back, exhaling. Spin your left heel down, find your way into Exalted Warrior. Left hand to left leg, right arm up. How much space can you accrue between the crease of your right hip, where your thigh meets your hip, and your fingertips? Get long and tall through that right flank. Very nice. Let's make our way into triangle pose, Trikonasana, straightening the right leg, reaching your right ribs over the leg. Then right hand softly lands on your right thigh, your right shin, maybe on your block. Good. Can you find that vertical line from your left wrist to your right wrist? Okay, so from here, if you want to come into half moon pose, bring your left hand to your waist. Place the block underneath your right hand, giving your right knee a little bend. Then maybe a small step forward with your left foot, and then up you go. Maybe left arm goes up, totally your call. Let's take one more breath in half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. And then bending your right knee, you'll find the mat underneath your left foot. Then anchor yourself first, get your bearings, and then fingertips to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. That's it for the standing sequence. Yay! Brava! Good, and then let's everybody meet on hands and knees. Take your knees just a little wider than your hip width. We're going to come into thread the needle, using your right arm first, sweeping your right arm onto the floor. Coming down to your right shoulder, down to the right side of your head, your right temple. Sweet. And pressing your left hand into the floor, unthread your right arm, returning to hands and knees. Give your body a moment to itself. Just move your spine if you'd like, or wag your tail. And then thanks, Kara. Thanks for playing. And then as you're ready, you'll take your left arm onto the floor, sweep it between your right hand and right knee, and now you come on down. down to your left shoulder, settling the left temple onto the floor. If the floor feels far away, you can put your block under your head, or you might draw a pillow or a blanket under your head if you'd like. Good. Let's settle into this rest. Good, strong practice, everybody. Great. And with your right hand pressing into the floor, you can unthread your left arm and bring yourself to your hands and knees once more. Okay, so I'm going to have you stay on your hands and knees for a moment because I'm going to show you what I'm going to ask you to do next, but I want to visualize it first because it's not anything that we've done before in this Sunday morning class online. So I'm going to come down onto my right side, but hold up for a sec before you do this. And for me, I'm going to put the block under my head just so I've got a little more space. I'm sorry, I'm on my left side, my bad. So I've got a little more space between for my shoulder to hang out on the floor. So my knees are bent and they're just going to stack one on top of the other. The knees aren't really the emphasis here. What is the emphasis is pulling this left arm back slightly, like we did when we were in Parsvakonasana, right? I asked you to draw the upper arm bone and kind of really settle it into the shoulder socket. So I'm pulling my left arm back slightly, and then I'm going to have you lift your left hand, okay? So your 90-degree angle at your elbow. Your palm is facing your legs. At this point, I'm going to have you tip your left hand and forearm forward. Now, chances are it's not going to come to the floor. That's perfect. Don't force it. Just tip it forward, and then you're going to tip it back like a sundial. Then you're going to tip it forward, and you're going to tip it back. So what we're doing is we're rocking on the glenohumeral joint, and there's like a bursa sac there, right? And there's like a lot of synovial, well, for some of us, there's not enough synovial fluid, but we'd like there to be more. So imagine that this is kind of like pumping one of those old-fashioned water pumps, you know? So that's what we're going to do. Now, of course, if this doesn't feel good because we're right here, I want you to be like right here on your shoulder, okay? Doesn't feel good, you know what to do, ditch it. So everybody's down, left side, and then here we go. You're going to tip forward and back. Let's just tip forward and back 4 times. Yep. That's it, Kathy. Good, and back. It's easy to go back, right? Tipping forward is like, wah. Terrific. So just so you know where we're headed, you're going to do this 4 times just to get that pumping mechanism, like we're pumping the aquifer. And on the 4th time, I'm going to have you bring your right forearm and palm down just to the degree that it goes. And then with your, your left forearm, left hand down just to the degree that it will go. Then with your right hand, place it on top of your left hand just to give it a little bit of weight. We're not trying to manhandle it. We're not trying to like, yank it to the floor, just a little weight on top. And let's hold it there for just a couple more breaths. Great. All right, terrific. Bring your left arm back up. Good. And then release it to the floor and make your way over to the other side. If you don't like the block under your head, of course, you know, you don't have to have the block under your head, or use a blanket or a pillow or something, if that feels good for you. So on your other side, now you're on your right side, on your right shoulder, you're going to draw the shoulder back, draw the arm bone back rather. Pop that humerus bone deep into the shoulder girdle, bend your elbow, palm is going to face your knees, and then just pivot 4 times. down and back. Yep. Pumping right on the lateral joint. Try to keep that 90-degree angle in your elbow. On the fourth time, bring your palm forward. Just find that sweet spot where that's it. It's not going to go any further. And then simply rest your left hand on your right wrist. Just a slight amount of pressure. Not trying to yank the arm down. That looks beautiful, everybody. Good. Terrific. And release your hand. Bring your right arm back up. Stretch it out onto the floor. Nice. Remove the block out from under your head. Roll onto your back. Take your block to the left. Just set it on the floor to the left of your mat. And roll onto your back and have your knees bent, your feet to the floor. And then I'm going to have you bring your arms in front of you and cross your forearms just in front of your ribs. Take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Just right here, resting your forearms at your ribs. And we're going to make circles. Take your elbows out to the left. Bring them up overhead, keeping the square shape in your arms, and then to the right and back down in front. We're going to do that again. To the left, up and over. And then change gears, go to the right. Good. And when you come back to center, you're just going to change the cross of your forearms. Let the other forearm be on the outside. And here we go again. 2 circles to the left. Moving shoulders, moving ribs, and 2 circles to the right. Very nice. Beautiful. Release your arms to your sides. Let's take a moment and let your shoulders relax into the floor, drop into the floor. Bring your right knee into your chest. And experiment with stretching your left leg down the length of the mat. If you like the way that feels in your body, go ahead and keep it. And we're going to twist now, taking the right knee across the body to the left. And this is where I like to use the block. So stack your right knee on the block, maybe on its second height, maybe on its tallest height. Great. And then your right arm can stretch out to the right. And if you'd like, your left hand can come to your right leg, right knee. Good. We're going to stay for a full 1.5 minutes in this twist. Now, paying particular attention to what happens in your right scapula, notice any shifts if you bend your right elbow and take your right arm into a cactus shape. How does that change sensation, change the feeling, change the tension? Good. Stretch your right arm out to the right again if the elbow is bent, and slowly return to your back. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a hug, a little squeeze. Roll your toes around in one direction and then the other direction. Good. And we'll change legs. Left knee comes in. Move your block over to the right side of your mat. Good. And as you're ready, you'll roll over to the right, coming into a twist, stacking your knee on top of the block, if you like that kind of thing, and taking your left arm out to the left. For the record, it's my sister-in-law who is the Bruce Springsteen fan. She went and saw him last weekend in Atlanta for her birthday, her 70th birthday. And that was her 22nd time seeing him. She's truly a fan. My brother, on the other hand, is more keen on like a weirdo, ambient, droney kind of music. The kind of music that sounds like a refrigerator running. That's his jam. And now with your awareness on your left scapula, bend your left elbow, bringing your left arm into a cactus shape, and just check in. And that small shift in movement brings us back into our body like, wow, that's interesting. That's a different sort of sensation, different sort of feeling. Great. Stretch your left arm out to the left. Return to your back. Squeezing your left knee in with kindness and compassion. Then bring your right knee up to meet your left knee and roll yourself up into a little ball, a little roly-poly bug. Bring your forehead up, your nose up, bring your shoulders up off the floor. If you feel good to rock or roll, go for it. But squeeze, squeeze, squeeze yourself into a tight little ball. Excellent. Good. And then from here, set your feet to the floor and visualize your pathway to sitting. And then when you've got it in your head, make it so. Come on up, and we're going to do a little bit of pranayama before we go into Shavasana. Taking a seat on your block or a blanket or a chair. And as we're moving into spring, moving into Kapha season, we have been the last couple of weeks utilizing Kapalabhati breath at the end of class. If this is new to you, you can skip it, and I'll send the instructions with the email when I send the recording out. We'll do 2 rounds of 25, and then we'll follow that with 3 rounds of alternate nostril breathing, which I think everybody on the screen is familiar with. So for Kapalabhati, sitting tall, hands down, eyes closed again, only if that's comfortable for you in the space that you're in. And then together, let's exhale whatever we have on board. And then we'll take a full breath in through the nose. And then you'll exhale through the nose completely. It's kind of like how we clear the path. And then here we go. 25, you'll take a breath in. And then from your nose, pump out the exhalations. Great. Exhale whatever's remaining. And then we'll clear the path again. A full breath in. And slow breath out. Round two, breathing in. The actions just from the diaphragm. Begin. Exhale whatever's left. And then one more time, a deep breath in to finish the cycle. Exhale. And bring your right hand up, resting the base of your, or the pad of your thumb and your ring finger at the bridge of your nose. And just take a couple of natural breaths. Allowing the breath to slow down and find its rhythm. And then as you're ready, we'll begin exhaling from the left nostril. Inhale through the left. And exhale from the right. Inhale right. Exhaling left. Breathe in left. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. Breathe out left. So this is your final round. You're on your own. And you'll finish with an exhalation from your right nostril, after which you are welcome to remain seated for meditation for the next 6 minutes, 7 minutes, or make your way as efficiently as possible onto your back for Shavasana, taking the shape of your choice. Maybe throwing your legs up over an ottoman or the seat of a chair, or taking your legs up the wall. It's a good opportunity to grab your blanket and wrap yourself up like a yoga burrito. And no more manipulating the breath, no more manipulating our bodies, just allowing ourselves to drop in dropping bones to the floor, imagining you could empty your brain out through the back of your head. There's a little portal back there. And dropping your eyes deeper into their sockets. And dropping your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. And simply rest. So at this time, if your body's willing to move, you can begin to deepen your breath and animate your fingers and your toes. If you'd like to stay in Shavasana for another 10 minutes or half an hour, that's fine. Please do. Otherwise, as you start to bring animation back into your body, you can stretch through your arms and your legs in whatever shape or direction that feels good and that your space allows for. And then you'll pull your knees up one leg at a time. Roll over to your favorite side and lift yourself up slowly. Let your head be the very last part of you that comes up. Kind of drag it up there. Good. And then you'll find a seat on any sort of platform. Good. And we'll finish off with this sweet little mantra. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. We'll sing it 3 times. No pressure. You don't have to. And the meaning is on the screen. May all beings be happy and free. And then the intention behind this little chant is we say it with the idea that our words and our thoughts and our actions are going to contribute in some way, however small, to this happiness and to this freedom for all as we move into the week ahead, whether that's all sentient beings, right? 2-legged, 3-legged, 4-legged, 8-legged, winged, feathered, gilled, whatever. Bring your hands to your heart and take a breath in. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And lift the base of your thumbs to your forehead. And the peace that we generate on the mat, may it bring peace to our minds. Rest your fingertips at your lips. And may we have peace in our words this week. And finally, placing your hands at your heart, and may we have peace in our hearts as we move through the rest of the day and into the week ahead. Thank you so much for joining me and the others on the screen. Really great practice today, everyone. My apologies about the microphone thing. I think that might be the mic that I dropped into my tea. So it might be time for a new mic.